You can kick me somewhere ballin' on my ex. I'm getting money, I ain't responding to your text. I can never let a bitch see me sweat. Fuck a little life, bitch, you know I'm blessed. And I'm still getting money, ain't no changing. When you block me, I take that as entertainment. When I turn up, I know that's gon' make you angry. In my bag, so I'm feeling kinda dangerous. I'm so glad I got my own. Still getting money with the team.
What's up? This is the ChoppedByT Podcast, where we get real, raw, authentic conversations. I'm your host, T. And to the very far right of me, we got my brother, my dear brother, the honorable, the incomparable, Roscoe. Tell him what's up, Sco. And of course, on the ones and twos, we got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Demo.
Yo, what's up? How y'all feeling?
Yo, what's up? That's all you had, huh? It's the best you could do. And
Hello.
of course, in the middle, we got an artist, a legend in the making, Brett. Tell him what's up, bro.
What's up, everybody?
How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Good.
Hey, we making history right now on the ChoppedByT Podcast.
Yeah.
Our first white guy to come on.
I noticed that because I've been watching for a while. And when you asked me, I was excited. I was like, I think so. I went back to the page, scrolled down. I was like, yes, I think I am. Yeah. Cool.
Be the first white man on the
We
show.
had one guy who was
stoked.
coming on, my partner Parker. He was on, but his ass, he was so nervous.
and
I
scared.
was like, Parker, like, you've been around me forever. Like, what are we doing?
He was interviewing us. He was asking us questions.
So what do y'all think about religion? Oh, wow. Parker, shut up. I'm saying, Parker, shut up. I
forgot about that.
I did too. I ain't
He
gonna
wanted
lie.
to redo. We're going to have to let Parker come back.
Yeah, we got a little
Come back, Parker, please.
I've
if
been
you
knowing him
listening.
forever, though. It's like, dude, we've known each other since for years now. Why are you so nervous? Right? It's the camera and lights.
Yeah.
But the lights and cameras, I mean, shit, this is small compared to where, what you do.
Right.
More specifically. And people can look on YouTube now and see your live performances and everything like that in front of crowds of people and things like that. When we first did our first live shows, Roscoe was afraid. He was terrified.
Yeah, I was terrified.
Terrified. Everybody can't be like me. Great. Yeah. He was terrified to come on stage and do the whole thing. Do you remember your first time performing?
Yeah, it was. Well, this is different. This is a different setting. It's kind of like being in the studio too. It's like whenever it's live and the more people, the better, because there's more energy in the room. Everybody's more hype. You can say "What up?" and everybody's like, "Yeah." It makes it a whole lot easier to like come out of your shell and everything. But like in a setting like this or in the studio where everything's really still or really controlled, it is different. But yeah, my first show was at prom, actually. I was in 10th grade. All my friends were older than me. And we had a band, and we all played instead of them hiring a DJ that year to save the senior class some money. And so, yeah, that was the first time. I was playing guitar for that band, but that was the first time that I sang in front of anybody. Was at prom, in front of all my friends, and I had to see them Monday morning and be like, what's up? I was a quiet kid, too.
Yeah,
so,
okay. That's good.
it was...
I've heard, like, when you perform in front of crowds like this, like, the feeling is you're throwing energy at them and they're throwing it back to you. So it's like a constant, like, sharing of energy. Is that like a fair assessment right there?
Totally. That's why we give so much, because we get it back, and then it's just like this repeating cycle. Like if you throw a tennis ball at a wall, if you just kind of like lob it that direction, it might roll back to you. But if you throw it, it's coming straight back to you. So if you got 4 people up there throwing it out there as hard as you can, it's gonna come back.
That's what I was gonna ask you about. Is I watched I don't know if you watched the Astro World documentary on Netflix. And Travis Scott.
I haven't seen it, but I heard about it. Yeah.
Got you. Travis Scott, he played a clip from one of his first performances. It was like in front of 15 people, and they were hardly paying attention to him. I'm like, have you ever had that feeling, or have you ever had that experience of that happening to you? And if so, how did you like fight through it?
It makes it a little bit harder, like with what we were talking about earlier, like having less people there and everything. Like if there's if there's 1,000, 1,200 people in front of you jumping, screaming, singing along and everything, it makes it so much easier because you got all those people encouraging you and just feeding it. But if there's 10 people sitting around a couple tables not moving, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do with my hands? Like stand there with my hands in my pockets, just going through the motions, waiting on it to be over. But then at that point, we just turn to each other and we start
Rely on each
jamming
other.
off each other and
Yeah.
stuff. So we try to deliver as much as we can every time. So
That was my biggest fear, like us getting up there, our first live show, and just the crowd just being dull, and just that was gonna automatically make me get in my head, because I remember I used to do a speech class in college, and I was kind of equating it to that, but it's totally different thing, because people in
you had
class,
me. You had
people
me.
just looking at you, you know what I'm saying?
'Cause you
But
had me.
that's that feeling when everything's still and they're just like,
yeah, they just looking at you. They just they think
bad.
about when they got to go up and do their speech. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like it was just a totally different vibe. And once I got up there, I was calm. Yeah, and I had T and Demo. It was,
I mean, me.
okay.
You had to
had
say
T.
Demo.
it's one of those things.
Thank you for including me.
Kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid, thinking about it's worse than actually getting up there and doing it. But like once you're up there, if you're like, hey everybody, what's up? And you realize that, okay, well, here I am. Everybody's looking. What am I going to do in this moment? I'm either going to take it and make the most of it, or I can, you know, be scared and let everybody see that. And, you know, so you just got to.
Recipe for disaster right there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to ask you. So, like we talked about off camera, you can sing really well, right? So, how did you take singing classes, or is that something that you just naturally picked up on your own?
No, I didn't. I took got my trusty iPhone and I got voice memos on there.
Gotcha.
And I was in my mom's kitchen singing a lot because she had high ceilings and wood floors and everything, so the acoustics
Yeah,
sounded really
yeah.
good in there. And you know, when I was trying to figure out how everything worked, and I would sing like a chorus and record it and listen back, and you always sound different whenever you listen to yourself talk back, and it's the same with singing. So I would do that and listen back to it and be like, you know, like,
yeah.
and then find like one thing that I wanted to have differently. Like that sounded a little flat. That syllable didn't come out the way I wanted it to, or like, you know, and so I just kept doing that until it turned into kind of muscle memory.
Gotcha. Was it any prior education though? Because a lot of that, you know, the language that you're even speaking right now, a lot of people don't understand that, right? So was it any? Do you come from a family of singers or artists or anything like that? It's just so you picked it up on your own. Gotcha.
Started off playing guitar.
Got all guitar, so okay, that would be a key. You know, learning how to play the instruments and everything. So you already kind of like adept to hearing those sounds and different types of things like that. Listen, I played the trumpet in high school, in middle school. I played the trumpet in middle school. I was first chair. I don't
First
know.
chair?
Yeah, I was first chair.
Uh-oh. Come on.
I was first chair
What grade you
trumpet.
was in when you played trumpet?
I was sixth grade.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that shit at all.
Yeah, I was sixth grade, seventh, and eighth grade actually.
You must have
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah. I was great at the trumpet. You know, a lot of people. I put on my trumpet when I got down here. A lot of people, you know, they tried to like stop me from being the greatest part of myself that I could have been. But you know, I followed through it and everything. And going into ninth grade, I started, you know, having sex.
I thought you were going to say playing football. You just
Oh no, it was fucking. Once I started fucking, it just everything changed.
That's what kept you from being a better trumpet player? Out of all things.
I got no fucking time for this trumpet. I got some fucking to do. No, that was my life, you know, once I started. But guitar is a different type of instrument, though. Like, that's different. You get pussy as a guitar player. You know? Yeah, that's a fact. And a pianist. Like, if you play the piano and shit, you get pussy. That's a fact. Trumpet, it's not much. It's
kind of like in the background, like not
Yeah.
being seen.
Yeah, and it's like, who the fuck want to fuck a trumpet player? You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. What? Name me 3 trumpet players. You can't do it, Brett, because you already. Come on, Demo. You played it. You was first chair too. Name me 3 trumpet players.
Winston Marsalis.
All right, you too confident.
Between all of us, we get 3.
Never mind. You too
should ask
confident.
me to.
I should ask you. I know why the fuck I asked you. He's like, all right, pussy. I got you. Shit.
Oh god.
But no, like, so you tour, right? You on the road, you touring,
We're traveling more.
traveling more. Okay, so like, how does that even start? Because I think, all right, well, no, how does it even start? How do you start getting into touring and doing stuff like that?
Well, we had a friend that played in a cover band, so they had like 3 1-hour sets throughout the night. And we started coming up and playing in between their breaks. They have a 30-minute break in between their next set. So we were doing that in high school just to have a stage to play on. And so we started getting a following because of it. And then we had our own show. And then one show turned into this other show over here. Just a lot of networking. And so we got to where we knew a bunch of people in Birmingham, and then we started coming up here, and then like, you know, using our contacts to get to the next city and grow each one. So it's like, you know, to make any money, you got to go from one, make a name in another one, and then keep going from there, like a little further. You just got to grow it. So
Just building the market.
yeah.
See, I think that's well, it's a lot of things that go into that, right? Because a lot of people don't. Yeah, well, you got to have, I guess, the resources or the people to know people going in to be able to do that. Because y'all just so happen to have a band that you can go in and do sets in between. But also, even aside from that, you got to have resources and the know-how, because it's a lot of like work behind the scenes that you have to do to even go from city to city and orchestrate these different things like that. So that's my thing. Do y'all have a manager or somebody who handles that, or is that something that you got you? So in the beginning, it was just y'all trying to figure it out.
Yeah, in the beginning, whenever we were going to Louisville, before we had a van or any way to get anything from anything, we had a U-Haul cargo van, and we had all of our equipment in the back of it because it had 2 seats up front and then a little cage in between. So we had 2 people up front. We had an air mattress with the other 2 people in the back, and all the equipment back there and everything, just doing what we could to get there.
Little mini tour bus.
Yeah, it was sketchy. You hit the brakes and you got drum cases falling on you and everything, but that's what you got to do.
That's what made the journey so sweet, just going through those things like that.
Right.
The grassroots stages of all of this shit. You just trying to figure it out and make shit happen. That's definitely key. What do you say to people who say rock is dead? Fuck you.
We have a song called Freak Show, and some of the lyrics is, but I see the way you're watching me and say that rock and roll is dead.
Yeah, I know. I'll listen.
Yeah, but watch the show. Like, I mean, if you think so, it might not be what it used to be because of MTV and like how it was just the center of everything, like as far as the entertainment and everything. But it's branched out. Music and everything has into more subgenres, and it's gotten a lot more diverse. So I don't think it will ever be exactly what it used to be, but it's not dead for sure. Yeah. If anything, it's more diverse.
That's what I was about to say. I think it's more alive than ever.
Yeah.
Because if you look at even rap music, more specifically, you see a lot of rappers. That's the whole, aesthetics. Everything about them is rock, from the nails to the dress, the way they dress. Everything is all rock and
Their
roll.
merch looks like death metal logos and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's even more alive, and it's just up to like artists, especially rock artists, to just try to capture that energy instead of trying to keep to the traditional mindset and ideals of it. Right. Capture that energy and branch off into those markets, because I think it's more alive than ever. For sure.
That's what I feel like rock and roll is. It's the mentality. It's the energy. It's like,
it's a lifestyle.
Exactly.
I want to ask you, what's the craziest thing you done seen like at a rock show or at one of your shows?
Oh Lord. That might take me a second. We had a show in Franklin actually one time, and during this breakdown, this guy fell and he busted a beer bottle when he fell, and it cut his hand like wide open. I saw him fall, and there was a lot going on and everything, and then I turned back around, and all I see is like blood and blood all over the floor, and he's gone. Somebody's got a towel, and I'm like, what happened? Is he okay? Like, is he missing a hand? Like, but he was cool, and then he came back to the next show in Huntsville, and he was like, dude, yeah, this happened. Check this out. I was like, wow.
I always, when I used to watch him and stuff, because it'd be so much energy, I always wondered, like, do it be a lot of fights happening there? Like, do people...
It depends on if the music's heavier, you know, you got mosh pits, and they get like, kind of rough and everything.
Crazy.
They're like, you know, usually there are those people that can take it too far and like get pissed off if they get hit or something like that. But for the most part, everybody's just bouncing off each other. It's all cool.
Yeah, just having fun.
Yeah.
How do you nowadays, just moving around and, you know, going on these tour days, how do you stay grounded and focus on perfecting the craft?
That's the most fun part to me.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of sing-along parts in our songs and everything, and our originals are written like that. So even if we come out and you don't know who we are, after you hear the first chorus or the first pre-chorus, you know it's coming up the second time.
Yeah.
Or like we like having the
intentional
crowd.
The way you do that. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
We
smart.
like having the crowd as engaged as possible for that energy to like, yeah. So.
I wonder, I seen a quote on your Instagram. It says, I might butcher this, but it says,
don't butcher it. You just pull up his IG. You don't want to butcher it. You don't want to butcher it.
let me put up your IG real quick.
I mean, D-Mo can pull it up. I don't know. He may know the quote on his IG. What about that?
I might.
It's his IG.
Which one?
It said, how big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail? And I want to ask you, is that a lot of motivation behind what you do? Like, how hard you go for your music?
Yeah, because, I mean, the band's called All or Nothing. And so there's a lot of people that wait around, or that they're like, you know, maybe someday I think it would be cool to start doing this, or, you know, I would like to, you know, get this together, or, you know, but, you know, when is someday?
Yeah.
Right.
If you're trying to do something, if you're trying to fight an uphill battle, when is someday? Like, it's not going to come unless you are actively putting in work to get to the next step. And if you get comfortable, then what's going to happen?
Speaking of comfortability, we talked about it off camera, just you being comfortable with just like going crazy. Like people could be out in the crowd. And you used a great example of, I like the analogy you used of, if you throw something back really hard, it'll come back to you really hard. And I like the fact that
Really
when
hard. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. That was a crazy choice of words. You done that, bro. That was a crazy choice of words.
Max,
really hard, though.
you threw the energy with maximum velocity, and it comes back with the same amount of velocity. This man crazy.
I had to say really hard. It's so many other words.
Tunnel vision on my question. You finna throw me off my question.
I'm sorry.
Where does it come from? Where does it come from? The idea of no matter what people are doing out in the crowd, I'm still gonna be my best self because I know that's what's gonna come back to me.
I mean, that's me and the guys. That's kind of what we have an agreement. It's kind of what we're built on. Like, no matter where we're at, no matter who we're playing with, whether there's 10 people, 1,000 people, if we're opening up for somebody that we look up to, no matter what, we want to put on the best show that we possibly can and make sure that nobody wants to go on the stage after us. No disrespect, but we're here to do what we do.
Yeah.
And we've pissed some people off, but, you know.
What made you choose rock and roll, though? Because I was on your Instagram, I just seen one of your posts where you were singing. Like, you really can sing. Like,
Thank
what
you.
made you choose rock and roll?
It's what I grew up with. It's what all of us grew up with because of our parents and stuff. So we like it, and it's we feel like it's kind of gone under the radar with the younger generation, and we know what's working and what's going on. So if we can blend that stuff together, then we can get both demographics of people to understand and appreciate what we're doing, and it's been working pretty well. So
I think I got a bright future ahead of y'all. I think so. I mean, because you see the work ethic, you see it seemed like the business is good because, you know, you see the structure, you see it set up. Even just me looking at the presentation of the live show on YouTube, it's like, oh wow, you can hear this well. It's filmed well, so it seems like y'all are really intentional about doing shit like that. So I can appreciate that, and I can appreciate that side of it because the aesthetics are key. And yeah, I wish that we can get better like that too, Demo. Can you hit the speaker off of me, Demo? It keep on beeping over there too. But I wish we can get better at shit like that as well, and that's why I even asked, like, because our first live show that we did, it wasn't as it didn't sound as good from, you know, audio standpoint as I would like, or even the visuals of it wasn't as good. So that's why I asked in the beginning. I think you got a lot of insight to offer people in regards to things like that, and that's what you're here for. That's what we got you here for, to just share, you know, your perspective on all of these things, on your journey and what you're doing.
for sure.
I guess the next thing I want to talk about, just going into you as a person, I want to go back a little. So you said you grew up on rock and roll. Your parents, and all of y'all parents is knew rock and roll. That's what y'all knew. How do you? And you said you didn't say your parents were musicians or anything, right? Nobody was. So how are you introduced to the music? What makes you decide, hey, I want to go and start a band, or I want to go and play guitar? How do you get into that?
When I was like 8, my mom and dad split, and music was my thing.
It was an outlet.
I was home
Yeah.
alone a lot, and so I wanted to start playing guitar, and that was my own little world that I went into, and me and everybody else in the band has had, you know, something similar happen to where we're like, this can impact people. Like, this is really strong. This like resonates with people and can get you through stuff and everything. So like, that's the bigger picture behind what we're wanting to do, is like, if we can be that for somebody, that's what we want to be. You know, it's fun and it is everything else. But you know, it can help.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about, so your parents, was it a rough split? Was it bad? Yeah. So, all right. With that understanding, all that being said, you had music. Did you teach yourself how to play the guitar? Mm-hmm. All right. So
YouTube.
If
you want to learn something, YouTube.
Or musician.
All the way.
They should sponsor us. I shouldn't say their name. We should bleep that out. Fuck that. They should sponsor us. So by music being your outlets, what was the process? Like, what does 8-year-old Brett do in that room, you know, when all the shit around him is going bad? You know, besides jacking off. What is it? He's jacking off at 8.
I don't know if I was there yet, but
sounds advanced.
I don't know. You know, thinking stuff sounds good when it didn't, but I knew what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And then like YouTube or playing the CDs and backing it up and playing this part over and over and over and over, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to get this hand to match up with this hand, and like this one's picking a different string and this one won't move right. And like, you know, it's frustrating, but you can see the progress, and that's what makes it fun at the same time.
And you taught yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
At the age of 8.
For the most part.
And you just weren't playing with yourself, Skull.
No, I was focusing on football.
Football? I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't touching myself at the age of 8.
Who was touching you?
Nobody.
Touching yourself at 8 is
Like,
wild.
touched by a
Touching
man.
yourself at 8?
That's wild.
No man ever touched me. Unless I wanted them to.
I wanted to ask you because I be seeing like a lot of people talk about, you know, their parents getting divorced and stuff and how that affected them eternally. Like, because I always thought, I always had it in my head, if my parents got divorced, like I would be okay because their relationship had nothing to do with me per se. It was like how they treated me. So I wanted to ask you, how did you feel internally when that happened? Like, what was your thought process?
I don't know. Since it was all I knew. I was so young I couldn't drive or do anything so like I was just kind of like there for whatever was going on, really.
Getting tossed around, basically,
Yeah.
Tossed
but-
around.
Jesus
Crazy
Christ.
with the words.
Man, it's
Tossed
crazy.
around.
What the toss around implies in your head?
8-year-old?
You know what I mean? Going back and
I
forth,
don't know
mom
what
and
the fuck
daddy.
you mean.
Mom and daddy, they're divorced. Context is important here.
Jesus.
Brett, was playing the guitar and teaching yourself how to play the guitar your way of replacing the trauma or figuring out what your parents were going through? Is that fair to say?
It was definitely like a way to be in my own bubble and not think about anything, and that was my thing. That Dad, I played baseball for a few years when I was younger, and it was cool. It had its ups and downs, but that's what he wanted me to do more. So it was pretty cool. But that was my thing. That was what I liked. That's what I wanted to get better at, and I was like, you can get creative and express yourself and everything. So.
Nah, I think it's just amazing sometimes how like most of the creativity we have or we express come through trauma. It's all rooted in trauma, especially the good shit.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck want to listen to a happy artist?
You ain't lying.
Like seriously
Right.
though, just like you fucking happy, everything going well for you. Like who the fuck want to listen to that?
I noticed the music get worse, like the more success they have,
Yeah.
like they get richer and stuff like
The
that.
art
Like,
gets worse.
yeah, like
Yeah,
if they
it's-
can maintain that same thing they had when they was going through all that stuff, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it that they expect? Is it that the music gets worse, or is it that they get worse, or they just experience more, so they have more experiences to talk about in the music? Like you seeing different stuff the richer you get. So when you see you going on tour, you know about it, Brett. You seeing more places, so you like, oh, I went to Iowa today. I can write a song about my experience in Iowa. I see that a lot in country music. So is it that it gets worse, or they just have more experiences to pull from?
My perspective, I just like hearing I don't like hearing pain all the time in
Yeah.
music. I like to hear, I want to be the balance. Like Rick Ross, for example. Like he be talking about rich shit a lot. I can't relate.
Like the rich
I
shit.
can't relate to
We
rich
broke
shit.
as hell.
I'm broke as hell. Not broke as hell, but I'm broke. You know what I'm saying? I ain't on that
Broke as
level.
hell.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it's like to be in Miami with a bunch of models in the room. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that feel like, so I can't relate with it.
I mean, like, I think that the pain goes deeper than just the subject matter, though. Some people, you just hear that shit, like, with you, when you on stage and I'm watching your shit, right? I see you. Like, you on stage, right? And you giving that shit your all. You there. You want to be there. You want to be there. You enjoy this. You giving it everything that you have in this moment, from the movement to all of that. You giving it everything that you have. That's what I expect from an artist. It's like these motherfuckers get rich or go through good shit and they get lazy.
You don't
Yeah,
feel
that's what I'm
energy
about
no
to
more.
say.
Yeah.
They get. I feel like a lot of people get complacent whenever they're, if somebody's at rock bottom and they're trying to get better and better, then they're working harder to be more successful and be that person that they want to be. But then once they get to a certain point and they're not worrying about the everyday stuff anymore and everything, then what's the motive really?
Yeah.
So I could see it being easy to, like, you're going up, this is killer, and then like that's when they start kind of coming back down, and then later they have a comeback a little bit, because they're like, oh,
They
I'm
went through
slipping.
some shit.
I'm slipping. Not everybody's gonna just like what I'm doing just for my name on it.
I was like, that shit sucked.
Yeah.
That shit sucked.
It's a learning lesson.
No.
That's how I feel about Kevin Hart comedy right now. Like, I just ain't been feeling it lately.
Yeah, we're gonna leave Kevin out of this, okay? He did not ask to be on our podcast right now.
Right, you messing up our future chances. Like,
We gonna leave Kev.
be like, nah, brother, I would come on your podcast,
Told
but
me to tell you.
Nah, seriously though, like I enjoy you know, the up and coming, or I think that's why so many people like underground artists and like the new up and, because it's a different energy with artists like that you can offer. And I don't want you to ever forget that, because you're gonna continue to grow and y'all gonna get bigger and you're gonna tour. You're gonna be touring all over the world soon. Don't forget the times when you had that fucking mat or whatever, the air mattress in the U-Haul, and it was like
For sure.
all the shit. Don't forget that shit, because that's what you got to channel when you whether you're in the studio, whether you wherever on stage. You got to channel that energy and remember that, you know, to continue to make great work, great art. I'm gonna tell you, because there's a black man who strictly listens to gangster rap. Strictly listens to gangster rap. I heard it and I worked out to it, and I'm like, I actually like this. It's not. I've heard like rock before, like I think it's heavy metal is what it's called. Y'all gotta educate me if I'm saying shit wrong as well. Like it's like it's that, and I'm like, I don't like this shit. Yeah, I don't want this.
It was scary to me. It scared me.
There's a bunch of different kinds. You gotta find what you like.
But what you give is clear. You can hear it. It's storytelling. It's well written. You write your own shit.
We all do.
It's a story to it. It's you know, it's the subject matter. You go in, you deliver. I think it's great. I think you got some good work, you know. And I'm not just saying it because you're here. Because if it suck, I would tell you it suck.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, I think it's cause when you sent it to me, you was like, check his YouTube out. I was getting ready to give me some food through the drive-through, and this girl, she seen me listen to it. She just. So what, black man can't listen to rock and roll? Like, what's going on? I was listening to that live wire. I like that live wire.
Yeah, live wire.
Thank you. We've gotten a pretty good response from that. And like what you were talking about the mattress and the U-Haul and not forgetting that and everything. Like sometimes crazy stuff happens. Like when we had Vince Neil, Motley Crue's lead singer, reserve a table to come see us one time at one of our shows, and that's huge.
Crazy.
Like that when we all grew up listening to Motley Crue and stuff like so. That was crazy, and you know Vince Neil reserved the table to come see us. Meanwhile, we got that damn U-Haul parked out front in front of the venue, so it's like we're getting there, and then like.
But I'm pretty sure he can relate though. He probably understands.
The grassroots of that shit.
For sure. Everybody's been there. He was talking about one time about how they used to change in like a broom closet, and they got their like elaborate outfits and everything from back in the day, changing in a closet. So he said, you know, that you just got to do what you got to do and keep rolling with it. So I appreciated him telling us that.
I want to ask you, are you living in the moment right now, or are you always thinking future? What's next?
I try to balance it.
Try to balance it. Yeah. Because I know sometimes living in the moment, you can get like stagnant, and also thinking too much in the future can be depressing. That's kind of like and I'm glad that was a great answer, by the way. Like, I'm glad you done it, because that's what I consistently battle with every day, is living in the moment and thinking future. Because while I'm living in the moment, it's like, if I continue to do this, if we continue to post this every day and do this, we'll say stagnant. We won't pivot. We won't do something that's going to be better for our brand, for us. And we'll just continue to do the shit that we've been doing and get complacent. But then by living in the future, you're like, oh my God. And this is anxious. And it's like, oh, I'm anxious. My anxiety is through the roof because I don't know what's next. What if this shit fails?
Fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah, I think it's important to, you know, to kind of plan out what you're wanting to do, to like look at the future and to look forward, you know, where you want to be at, where you want to go, the direction you want to take things and stuff, so that you can do your best in the moment, and then all of a sudden things start happening like that, and you're like, how did I get here? And you're like, oh yeah, and you look back and you're like, I had my own back the whole time.
Yeah. What is that moment when you knew, we were meant to do this?
I don't know. There's been a lot of cool ones.
I want to tell you one of ours, and you can give me one. Just think about it. Give me one of yours. Like, our moment when I knew that we were supposed to be here. It was such a small moment when somebody found us on TikTok, and they followed us on IG, and they subscribed to our podcast, and they watched one of our episodes, and they said, I pray that this podcast gets 4 million subscribers, and y'all do X, Y, and Z. It was some other shit than what they said, and I hope they watch it now. Thank you for that, because in that moment, in those moments, me and Roscoe and Demo as well, flirting with the idea of like, is this even what we should be doing? Is this the right thing? That one thing right there, when they said that and they wrote that down, it was like, oh yeah, we were meant to do this. This was meant to happen in this way.
It'd be so many moments like that.
Yeah, and it's only when you feeling down. It's like a sign.
It comes.
Yeah,
You're like, let me tighten up.
Whenever you feel like you're down there and you start feeling like that, and you feel like stuff's stacked against you and everything, and you keep like, you hold on, keep doing what you're doing. Like, I know whenever I feel like that, I just tell myself, I'm like, all right, something really cool is gonna happen next week, and I already know it, and it happens like clockwork every time.
Yeah.
So
you believe in manifestation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what that is right there, and you already putting into action. Sko had a question that he wanted to ask you. It's kind of weird. I'll ask for him.
What question?
He wanted to know, how did you get your hair like this?
He's a fucking liar.
You did. What?
I actually just got done last week.
Fucking know. Like, you was like, you said this man has a beautiful set of locks on it. How the fuck did he get his hair this way? I was like, what? What type of fucking freaky question is that, Sko? He was like, bro, you gotta ask for me, bro. I'm too tough. I was like, all right, I'll ask for you. You know,
We do have nice hair, but that didn't cross my mind.
you got a gray head of hair.
Got it done last week. Thanks, Bailey.
Yeah. So what is it? Is intent? You do it like that? Does it grow like that, or you just? I know we talking.
It was
about your
wet
hair,
when I left the house.
Yeah.
But the color's not natural, but everything else is.
Are you mixed with anything?
I got Cherokee, Blackfoot on my mom's side, and Greek Italian on my dad's side.
Italian. I was gonna say Italian. You can always see some Italian from a mile away. It's poke out.
You Italian? You got some Italian in you?
That's what I was waiting on you to say. Like, I got a little Italian in me.
I might have a little Italian in me. I'm black, brother. I'm a black American.
23 and me.
I have some everything. Right. Shit, who knows?
Brett, I wanted to go back to you. You referencing how rock has like split out into subgenres. So, what would you define what you and AON do, and put yourself in a subgenre? Not necessarily put yourself in a box, but you get what I'm saying.
I don't know, because we get asked this a lot. We have some really heavy like 80s influences. That's why we wanted to cover.
Definitely can see that. Yeah.
And also, like, we all have different influences. We like really heavy stuff, so sometimes we kind of want to push the envelope and see what we can get away with without it being too much. And I also I like singing from a bunch of like metalcore, emo stuff from back in the day, like Pierce the Veil, Sleeping with Sirens, stuff like that. And that's, I don't know, you put it together. They all have a lot of similarities, but if you do them together in the right way, I feel like anybody would be able to. It's not so extreme in one area that it like alienates you from everything else. So we're just doing our own thing, and if we think it sounds good, we're like, all right, cool, let's use it. So.
Do you believe that music is cyclical? Like you say, you had a lot of 80s influences. Do you believe that stuff really evolves or revolves, and it just keeps coming back around in different forms?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like, even we were talking about samples before we started and stuff, like, there's samples from stuff, old stuff, that comes back around, and then nobody knows that's that part that made that song, that went to number one, that came from the 40s?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
So, it's cool. I think styles change, but people don't really change, so there's that, like, underneath that.
And the technology gets better as well too.
True.
Like, it's so clear now. It's so concise. It's so like, it's there. The technology always gets better. I enjoy the music of today. I enjoy where things are going. Even because it's so crazy. All of this shit, it all comes full circle, because I've kind of been heavy into like these emo rapper type of guys lately. They kind of annoying too, I won't lie. But I've been kind of heavy into not just the music, but their stories and where they come from and the influences. And it's always rock bands. It's always, this person influenced me to do this. And I love rap, of course, so I brought it into rap. It's like, I think the thing is like the foundation. The foundation is the sound itself, the music, and everything else builds off of that, and then it branches off into different groups of music. But if you can understand the foundation, then you can look at music from a completely different lens.
Yeah, you can really do like whatever when you have like basic chord progressions and basic rhythms, and I feel like how everything is branched off, because you can't go much further than that. Like there's 12, we only use 12 notes. So only certain ones go together.
Yeah.
So I really feel like it's just like what instruments you use or what style you use with those chord progressions and stuff that really, but you can't really reinvent the wheel.
No, you can't.
In a way. It's just what you do with it.
I want to ask you, what's next in the future for you? Like the future of All or Nothing?
We're working on a tour right now. We're excited about that.
Y'all got one coming up on the 24th, don't it, of March?
We got March 19th
March
at
March
home,
19th.
and then the 26th, I think, we're going to be at Eastside Bowl up here. It's a new place, East Nashville. I went in there. I couldn't see the stage area because they were having somebody was like practicing in there that night or whatever. But the place is really nice. I've seen pictures of it. I'm excited. We're going to be playing with Resist and Bite. They've got a couple members from like Tesla and stuff. So like it's gonna be a good show.
Do you get nervous still?
The only time that I kind of do is if we're having like equipment malfunctions right before we go on. But like after the first 10 seconds when everything's going well, I'm good.
Yeah.
But if we go to start and somebody stepped on a cord, this came unplugged, I can't hear myself for some reason, that's when I start like,
Freaking out.
what's going on? Is everything? But as soon as I know everything's working, I'm good.
Are you an only child? You have siblings?
I got a little sister.
You got a little sister. I can kind of see. I can get that from you. I get that like big brother type of energy from you. Yeah.
I always wanted a little sister.
Yeah. Me too. Or a little brother.
Yeah.
But I'm the youngest.
Don't
one.
have either, do you?
No, I don't
You got
either.
our older brothers.
Yeah, I'm the little one. But no, the reason why I asked you about that is because like seeing. Would you say that you? I know you're the lead singer, but would you say like you're the leader of the group? Are you the one that I don't want to, because people get a little high when it comes to leader, but like it's like, would you say that you the person that kind of hold everybody together and keep everybody motivated?
Kinda. I mean, you gotta. Anytime you're working with a group, you gotta know each other and know, because stuff gets complicated sometimes, and you gotta figure out how to pull each other together to be on the same team to get to the next thing if you need to. So I've read a few books on like leadership and stuff, and like I took a leadership class when I was going to UAB, but I try to use that stuff to be helpful and positive so that we're all on the same page.
Yeah. So what is the what advice would you give to a person that's a leader, or because a lot of bands or groups here, they break up.
Mm-hmm.
What advice? Two-part question. What advice would you give to a person that's living that now to stay consistent? How long have you and your guys been together now?
We've been together, I was like 17.
17?
Yeah, so when we started, so about 6 years, something like that.
So what advice would you give to a person that's currently going through that to get to that 6 year? They're in year one and shit kind of going bad. What advice would you give to that person? And also, as far as how would you maintain longevity within your own group?
Well, nothing's gonna happen immediately, so don't think it will. That's the fastest way to get discouraged. Think everything sucks, and like the world doesn't owe you anything. You got to get out there and like make it happen. Like you got to get people to notice you, and like you gotta be genuine and make those relationships and everything. But with that, the hardest part is, finding the right members that are, because you can find somebody that's like really good at what they do, like really good, but you can't stand to be around them. Or somebody that's really fun to be around and you like hanging out with them and you're really good friends, but they don't want to put the work in. And like it's a tricky balance. But then once, like, as long as you're not complacent and you're like serious and you have somebody that hey, we got a good thing going here. And then you find somebody else that just clicks right away, that's got the same drive. Like, finding people is the hardest part. But, I mean, once you do that, then it starts kind of taking care of itself.
Yeah. Well, all right, so as somebody who never listened to rock music like that, except like mainstream shit, not myself, but just talking to somebody who never listened to rock music, what would you tell them to try to get them to listen? How would you get the casual fan? Or do you even care to get the casual fan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what everybody thinks, because what we're doing is a little different. So it's really cool to me, like, when you're talking about it's not usually what you listen to and everything, and you too, like, that's really cool that y'all hear it and you like it. Because that's really cool, because it's not the typically what you would listen to, and you can still like it and appreciate it and stuff. That, to me, makes me know that we're doing something right, because we want to be as broad as we can, like, we want to make a dent and, like, go as big as we can. And that's more than just pigeonholing ourselves into, like, this one specific niche thing. So, yeah.
Would it bother you if, like, somebody, because a lot of rock music I'll listen to when I'm in the gym or different things like that. Yeah. If somebody came to you and was like, man, I enjoy your music, but I only listen to it when I'm in the gym, does that type of stuff bother you because they're still listening to it?
No. I'm like, that's awesome, man. What song? Like, what part of what song? Like,
what gets you going?
That's the one that gets you, yeah.
I told you I want to stab somebody. So I got it. I love the energy. Let me go run. Let me go for a jog, lift some weights. This shit got me on point.
Yeah.
That's get you amped up.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I think that's what a lot of rock is meant for. I don't know nobody that's going to sit and try to meditate to rock.
But no, that's a compliment, because it worked.
Yeah. Like, most rock, that's what it's meant for, to get you going. Like, it's like get you moving and shit like that. At least that's what it do for me. I mean, even before the football games and shit, you listen to the different rock songs here. This shit will get you amped up.
Rap music, I used to listen to the worst kind of rap music to get me going for football. I'm talking about the real crazy shit. Waka Flocka, he wild as hell. I had to listen to him before every game.
That energy.
Yeah.
And even that's rock influence. Like, his whole style.
His whole style, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, they call themselves rock stars.
Yeah.
Right, so, yeah, man, I think you're on to something. I think y'all on to something. And I'm excited to see where it goes. We're going to continue to follow y'all every step of the way.
Thank you.
I think you're on to something. Hopefully, it just, y'all capture the eye. Or do you want to stay independent, major label? What, like?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Hopefully, it catches the eye of Major, and, we can say, we had him on the beginning stages on the podcast.
That'd be really cool. Like, right now we got a good team going, bringing people on. So, excuse me, things are getting easier and easier. But if something came along that we couldn't turn down, that'd be pretty sweet too. But until then, we wanna do our own thing, so that way we can make our own rules.
Nah, seriously, y'all have the talent. I'm not pandering to anything. Like, y'all have the talent. The talent is there. Obviously, like I said again, the drive is there, and that's the most important part. I just hope y'all can stay consistent and just continue to, love on each other and continue to stay rooted in everything that y'all going through or whatever. Because if you do, you'll definitely it'll happen. You'll be somewhere.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you coming on.
Of course, same.
The first white guy. Yeah. Come on now, clap it up.
Let's go.
We're gonna have to name. That's what we're gonna name this episode. The first white.
First white guy.
And doing Black History Month.
During Black History Month.
We're gonna wait to April to post this.
Right.
I'm honored.
I'm gonna tell you because
Thank you, guys.
And I know Scope made it weird for you asking about your hair and shit. I don't know what's wrong with that, brother.
It happens, you know?
It's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know why you would do that to this young man in here.
Hey, it gets worse sometimes. You know, I'll be at the gas station or something like that. So, oh my God, can I touch it?
Yeah.
Like, no.
I guess. Or like, I don't care. It's just kind of there.
You got a gray head of hair. I won't lie. I like it.
Thank you.
Like it reminds me of I'm not gonna get into this shit. I'm not gonna get
Expose him.
it was really me. I wanted to know the cause.
Expose him. Let us know, T. We want to know.
This is a TV show. I can't even remember. It was do y'all watch Dexter's Laboratory?
Yeah.
I'm finna go into it. Y'all ask for it.
Oh, I know who you talking about.
So you know when they always hit the little transition to the rock
The superhero,
guys,
yeah,
superheroes.
yeah.
It reminded me of the rock.
Val,
guys.
is it Val Hallen or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot his
Exactly.
name.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
That was a good show. It's a great show, Dexter. Yeah. But again, we appreciate you for coming on. Take a lot of
Thanks
courage
for
to sit
having
in between me and Sco. I'm gonna tell you, you done it.
Hey,
Yeah, you had your own,
You
brother.
done it.
I'm here
You
for
had your
it.
own. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you coming out. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege. Listen, this is the ChoppedByT Podcast where we get real, raw, authentic conversations. Until next time.